Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. I just wanted to bring you a layout today as we're celebrating Memorial Day to give you some ideas of ways that you might be able to share memories of this day in your scrapbook. This morning, my family and I went and visited a replica of the Vietnam Memorial from Washington, D.C. that is here in our local area and permanently resides here, and got some great pictures of that, and talked to some really great Americans that have served. My husband served as well, and so it's kind of has a special place in my heart. This is a collection of sorts. It's a paper pack and a matching sticker pack that goes along with it called Stars and Spirit that just came out this year. So this is brand new. And these are just a couple of the sheets from that pack that I'm going to be using today. And we're going to use a black scrapbook page to put these on. So I hope that you will watch the video and maybe be able to duplicate this in your own scrapbook. All right, so we're going to, I'm going to clear this off just a little bit here real quick. We're going to start with this main piece, and I'm going to use my wavy trimmer. This is the CM wavy trimmer. And just to kind of give the illusion of the flag waving, I'm just going to make a couple of trims on this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this paper in so that I'm going to use the lazier wave at the very far right hand side. And we're going to go ahead and put this so that we don't miss both of the waves, but I'm going to center it. So one thing about this trimmer that you'll notice when you work with it a lot is the waves are not completely center. If you want your wave centered, then you have to center your paper. So don't put it up against the bumper, put it on the first line, grid line in on either side, and then your wave will be centered. So if that's important to you, then you'll want to make note of that. I'm just going to go ahead and trim off just a tiny bit of that on that edge. Then I'm going to also do the same thing on the far side. Nope, you know what? Actually, I beg your pardon. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so we're going to put the arm out on our trimmer so that we can see our measurements. We're going to do a half cut, and we're going to do it the same way. So we're going to measure this at the 6-inch mark, and then I'm going to pull it out to the grid line. So we're going to go like this so that we can center it, keep it centered, and still have it at the 6-inch mark so that I can have a second piece, because judging by the number of photographs I got today, I'm going to need 2 pages for this layout. So we're going to go with that. And then I'm not going to do a wave at the bottom of the page. So that should work. And I'm going to just get my 12-inch trimmer, and I'm going to, let's see. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just going to cut this down just a little bit. I want a square that's going to be 11 inches rather than 12 inches square. So let me make sure my foot is up. So this is level. There we go. And we're going to trim this 12 by 12 piece to make a 11 by 11 piece. And actually, we're going to do that twice. So here we've got one, and we're going to do a matching one for the other side. So 11 by 11. You could probably stack your papers and not have to do so many cuts if you want to. There we go, 11 by 11. 2 squares, one for each side of my 2-page layout. Now, I'm going to take my flags and adhere them across the bottom part of my page. So let's get some adhesive here. I'm not going to put it all the way to the edge because some of this flag is going to get trimmed off because I am going to put it across the bottom here. So bear with me a sec. So we're going to center it. I'm going to put the base of this center hump in the middle of my square. Which is going to be roughly right about there. Move it down just a smidge. So the center line on my flag is at the center mark for my base. We're going to go ahead and go across like this. And I know I missed the adhesive on the back in a couple of places, but we're going to trim it. It'll be fine. All right. So let's do the same thing with this one. We don't have to trim this one as much because it's the bottom piece and it already was straight. So that's one benefit of being of using this way. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is trim off the edges. I would have trimmed them before, but I just wanted to make sure that my flag was even and straight. So I'm just going to use my trimmer by lining up my edges and get those pieces off. If you want it to be totally and completely straight, you can use your bumpers to keep it level. They do a good job of helping out with that. All right, just going to throw those away. Okay, so now we have two pretty much matching sheets. Looks like our stripes are not quite the same, but that's okay. No sweat. All right, now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mount some photos that I want to put on these pages. And then I'm going to cut them because I have found that that works easier. So we've got, I keep shuffling things around on my desk here. Let me move this out of the way. This, kind of creating on the fly here, so there's not a pattern that I'm following. Whenever that happens, my brain's working at the same time that I'm moving stuff around. So bear with me here. Okay. This is a sign that's out in front of the replica. I'm gonna put a little frame around that. We've got these two pictures, which actually line up. I am not the most talented photographer, but I was pleased that these actually, when I put them on the page, the monument will flow right together as though it's one long picture, which would be really cool. I just want to trim off this top part so that they are all the same. So a little tricky to hold together and trim at the same time, but we can do this. And then I'm going to put it on my mounting page so that we can go ahead and frame it up a little, because this, after all, is the center focus of the memorial. So it should be frame worthy also. Then let's see. Let's just frame those first. I'm going to do these first. You ever take pictures like this on purpose so that they flow together? I love doing that when I have something that's really large that I'm trying to kind of capture the essence of. When we lived in Europe, I took pictures of the Eiffel Tower this way, and then I put them all together on one page, overlapping each other to make the whole tower on my page. And it turned out really cool. You just have to stand in one place and be patient enough to pivot and take pictures as you pivot, which can be a little tricky here and there. All right, so this is going to require a full 12-inch piece of paper to mat it. So I'll just go ahead and trim that. But that's cool that that all goes together so nicely. I think we'll do this one on the red paper. Just a hint of it, you know, just don't need as wide of a frame for this one. And frame your photos in as wide a mat as you want to when you're using paper to do it. Faster way is just to use a mat, an already prefabricated mat. But when you cut a photo down, it's harder to use a prefabricated mat. Okay, let's see. I think I want to frame this one, and I want to frame the flags. So we're going to do the flags in red since we, no. I'm getting myself confused. We're going to do this one in red. This one already has a little bit of adhesive on the back because I was kind of putting it together. This is an overlapped photograph. So two pictures of the same thing that I overlapped because they blended together so that it creates more of a landscape photo. If you look real close, you can see the seam. where the photos come together. But at first glance, it's hard to notice. So that's the goal. All right. And we're going to do this one in blue. You don't usually see me use photographs in my layouts as I do them on here, and that's typically because the layouts that I'm doing are not necessarily for current projects, and so I'll do a layout and I'll save it for when I need it later down the road. But since we just did this morning, it seemed appropriate to go ahead and do this today. And so I went ahead and printed these pictures real quick at home. And used a handy Christmas present that my husband got me a while back. And to go ahead and do that. All right, we're gonna also frame up this monument. This is a monument to all the working dogs who got left behind, which is something that I learned about recently. There's a lot about Vietnam that I don't know, so I learned a lot from my daughter, actually, in her history class. She shared with us the things that she learned. All right, so this picture is now mounted as well. So we've got all of those, and I have a couple more. Let's see if these need to be edited down. I may need to cut those down just a little bit. Let's see. Okay. So let's see how we're going to put these on here. Let me get rid of some of my extra stuff. Picture trimmings and things. Okay. So we've got our kind of our 2 pages, although they're going to be a little bit different because I'll show you in just a second. Okay. So actually, let me pull this out. So this is the black page we're going to put this on, and I'm going to tip the square that I've mounted these things on so that the angles or the corners of the square hit the flat sides of the page. Right, and then this is going to go right across the top. I am going to need to trim it just a little though. I can see because it goes off the page over here and a tiny bit off the top, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and add these things. I'm just placing them on here for right now, just to see how they look. This is our second page. This one tipped like that. We have the flags that are at the center. We have the dog memorial, which we'll put over here. And then I have some pictures of my family who were there with us this morning. One might need to go over here. This one I think I'm going to cut into a square. It doesn't need to be huge. So we're going to cut on this side, trim it on this side of my daughter, and then trim this up so it's 4 inches square. And it can go right here next to the flags. Maybe like that. I forget when I tip something at an angle that actually not everything on the page needs to be at an angle. Sometimes it's kind of cool to not have it be. So we'll do like that. I don't know if I'm really liking it. We need the flag at an angle, and then these not so much. I think I like that better. Okay, so let's get that put down. Let's just move this one out of the way for a second. We'll put this down. This across the top. Almost looks like it's upside down. Kind of threw me there for a second. All right, now we have it like this. Times I lay it on there. It's not exactly what I want, and then I take it off and I lay it back on there a different way. Sorry. Still experimenting. All right. Let's do like so. There's the left page. And we'll do the right page. Notice now we don't have any that's hanging off the edge, which is really nice, and because we don't have to go back and trim it that way. Okay, if you want these to be at the same level, then the best thing to do is line up your pages. And you can line up your photographs so that you have the same amount of room at the top, or roughly the same amount. They say this is kind of like scrapbooking in the real world, because this is on the fly as we're doing it. No pattern, just figuring it out as we go. Okay. All right, now let's grab some stickers and some embellishments. That will finish this off, I think. What we could do is we could put some stars across the top, because we have really great star banner, or we could just put these dots across the top. What to do? I'm gonna put the stars. We'll put the stars across the top. That'll be nice. Have a nice border across there. And heading across there. All right. And then let's use this. My foam squares. Okay. Let's see. So put that with God shed his grace on thee. Which also is going to need some foam squares. Just put the other one right here just so it doesn't sink. There we go. And maybe a star. Let's use a red one. Red star on top, just like that. We'll put a foam square on that too, just to keep it from sticking. Okay, so there's one. We'll stick down there. And the second one. I'm going to say home of the free because of the brave. And we're going to add stars to it. All right. And then again, more foam squares. Just a little one there. We are almost done with this. Funny how a little project can turn into a big thing, huh? Okay. So we'll put that one up here. Or actually, we'll put that one right here. And we'll do some journaling up here. I think that would actually be better. And maybe just add these little balloons and star to them. Fly up here. We can add some notes. All right. So that about does it for this layout. I hope that you have had some time today to be able to go and pay your respects to those members of our services who have fallen in the line of duty. That is what Memorial Day is all about. And they do deserve our honor and our respect. And I hope that if you do have some photographs of time spent today, that you can maybe duplicate this layout or find some inspiration in it. And from now until the next time we meet, keep creating.